Imagine Paimon as a robot, and imagine if, instead of the narrative hinting that one day you and Paimon might be torn apart or end up on opposite sides, she stayed by your side until the very end of the world. Farming resources, grinding bosses, unlocking achievements, you know that feeling, right? When your closest companion never leaves, always backing you up. And here's the twist, Destiny Rising actually gives you a companion just like that. Its name is Zev. Then layer on top of all of that, open world freedom plus Destiny's legendary loot grind and insanely satisfying gunplay, and I promise you this is the kind of adventure you don't want to miss. Today's video is sponsored by Destiny Rising, the game that takes everything you love about Destiny and reimagines it with a fresh story, new characters, and a loot grind you can play anywhere. You can use the link in the description and pin comment down below to play today. So it all starts with Zev, a ghost who brings Wolf back to life. Wolf has no memory, just a light-infused sword, and he's thrown into the ruins left by the collapse. As he navigates this shattered world, meeting factions, warlords, and heroes, he slowly discovers his role and begins to prove himself. Destiny Rising gives us a fresh look at the universe before the last city, while keeping all the loot, gunplay, and thrill that make it legendary. After experiencing many of the game's characters firsthand, two in particular captivated me, Gwyn and Estella. Gwyn is also known as the Reaper. Her weapon traces back to the battlefield clerics of the Golden Age, yet her past is far darker than the steel she carries. In her side story, we are drawn into that harrowing chapter of her life, captured by the warlord Walter, subjected to 26 brutal deaths in a single day, until she came to perceive death itself as a strange form of peace. What struck me most was her transformation, from victim to executioner, taking vengeance into her own hands. Her journey of growth pulled me along with its emotional tide. Today, she wanders Europe, a nightmare to warlords and a beacon for the oppressed. Gwyn's design seals the deal for me too. Half black, half white hair, split right down the middle, and bullets draped like a cape. Playing her feels incredible as a void warlock with strong self-healing. Gwyn is built for close-range combat. In regular missions, she absolutely shreds, mowing down mobs with that scythe in a way that just feels addictively smooth. I do love watching enemies drop in waves when she swings. But here's the catch, this isn't a solo power fantasy. On day 1 raids, when bosses had insanely thick health bars, her scythe alone couldn't carry. You needed the team buffs, extra damage, healing, protection for her to really shine. That's what I like about Destiny Rising. Nowadays, lots of games have characters with crazy stats, but the system keeps things fair. If you're into deep, morally complex characters with style and substance, you've got to experience Gwyn's story. After Gwyn, I came across Estella, and right away she felt really different from the other Lightbearers. Her whole identity revolves around this curse she carries, tied to an Amkara bone she was resurrected with, and it makes her feel so elaborate in a way that's rare for a character in a looter shooter. Playing through her quests, you can see the weight of that corruption, how she walks that fine line between losing herself to it and mastering it. The fact that she can summon phantoms and wield this forbidden energy isn't at all a gameplay gimmick, but rather a reflection of her story. She's a character who embodies the consequences of power, and that gave me a reason to care about her beyond the stats on her relics. Design-wise, she's just as impressive. The devs dropped her new Daughter of Spring outfit with platinum and soft pink pauldrons shaped like petals and golden branches on her back. She went from cold and solemn to looking like a goddess of life and renewal. In combat, that lore translates into a style that's as thrilling as it is strategic. Building up her corruption bar, marking enemies with misfortune, and then unleashing her ultimate to summon a devastating phantom, it all makes her feel alive in the middle of a fight. There's this constant push and pull between control and chaos that perfectly mirrors her backstory, and I love how the game rewards you for leaning into that tension. I think she shines most in raids with big damage windows, while in speedruns she's a bit slower. But either way, she's crazy fun to play. For me, Estella is the best example of what Destiny Rising does right with its cast. These characters aren't just placeholders for abilities, they feel like living, breathing legends, each with their own scars and philosophies, and that makes playing them all the more personal. But while characters like Gwyn and Estella ground the lore, the real heartbeat of Destiny Rising is its gameplay. This is, at its core, a looter shooter with ARPG sensibilities. The loop is simple but addictive. Missions lead to combat, combat leads to loot, and loot feeds back into build progression. What makes it shine is the layering of systems, talent trees, relics that modify abilities, light-linked companions that grant passive bonuses, and weapons with randomized perks. Every run feels like an opportunity to refine your playstyle. Combat itself is polished and impactful, drawing clear inspiration from top-tier looter shooters. Players can swap between first and third-person views, execute finishing moves, slide or double jump to maneuver, and exploit elemental weaknesses in enemies. Missions often include modifiers that add twists, black holes that suck you into the void, crystals that block healing until destroyed, or solar radiation bursts that force players to scramble for safe zones. These mechanics ensure that even familiar missions feel fresh. The playable content available to you is also impressive. Beyond solo story missions, you can dive into co-op PvE raids, drop into competitive PvP, or experiment with roguelike challenges in the Realm of Nine. Rising combines MMO and roguelike gameplay exceptionally well. Across 10 stages, each round offers ability upgrades, and I can freely choose how to build my character to make them stronger and better suited for tougher challenges. Since the upgrade buffs are randomized every round, each run feels fresh and motivates me to keep experimenting with new combinations. Of course, all of this would mean little if the game didn't play well. Here's where Destiny Rising shows off its innovation. Though designed for mobile, it comes with full emulator support on PC. That means crisp graphics, responsive controls, and seamless transitions between touch input and mouse keyboard precision. For many players, the thought of enjoying a looter shooter of this scale on a phone might sound daunting, but NetEase has engineered it to be approachable. If you want to grind loot in bed or commute, the mobile client works flawlessly. If you'd rather sit down at a desk with high-resolution textures and smoother frame rates, the PC emulator gives you that option. It's not a stripped-down version, it's the same game optimized for wherever you want to play. And let's talk about open-world exploration. This is where Destiny Rising really leans into MMO design. Between missions and raids, you can wander sprawling zones filled with NPCs, resource nodes, and secrets. There are reputation systems to grind, achievements to hunt, and materials to gather for crafting. Interactions with NPCs flesh out the world, often providing bite-sized lore about the struggles of survivors. It's an opportunity to feel like part of a living ecosystem. Public events can erupt as you explore, pulling nearby players together in dynamic firefights. For players who enjoy shared world exploration zones, Rising takes that concept and makes it more densely rewarding. Now, how does it compare to established looter shooters on PC? Games like Destiny set a high standard for gunplay raids and large-scale battles, and Destiny 2 has refined that legacy over years of expansions. By contrast, Rising doesn't try to replicate every aspect. Instead, it captures the core loop that makes the genre engaging and a mobile-first design. On PC, you have sprawling raids that demand coordination across 6 players for hours at a time. On mobile, Rising offers shorter raids with mechanics that echo that complexity but rather a smaller time commitment. The result is a game that feels thrilling without being overwhelming. Destiny Rising forges its own identity with a deep loot system centered on ARPG-style randomization. Weapons are built for theory crafting, featuring intrinsic traits, random perks, and mods that allow for endless build variety. This depth is balanced by clear character archetypes, offense, defense, and support, ensuring team compositions are instantly readable and strategic, even in the most chaotic battles. The monetization model is, as expected, free to play with optional spending. The primary hook is gacha pulls for new characters, though weapons and gear can largely be earned through play. A battle pass offers cosmetics and resources, and late game shops let you engage in gear trading. The trade-off is that you can try it free with no barrier to entry, which lowers the stakes for casual players curious about Destiny. What strikes me most about Destiny Rising is how approachable it is. For longtime fans, it offers side stories, characters like Gwyn, and lore tidbits that enrich the universe. For new players, it's easy to pick up and play. You don't need encyclopedic knowledge of the Witness or the Iron Lords to enjoy blasting Hive with a scythe. The moment-to-moment gameplay is kinetic, the loot grind is rewarding, and the mix of PvE, PvP, and exploration keeps the loop from going stale. So that's exactly what Destiny Rising delivers. Destiny Rising takes the world of Destiny and reimagines it as a mobile-first looter shooter with full PC support. Instead of just retelling the same story, it gives us a brand new adventure set before Destiny 1 and 2, back in the days after the collapse, so you can explore the universe from a whole new angle. Thank you so much, Destiny Rising, for sponsoring this video. You can use the link in the description and pinned comment down below to play today on mobile or PC emulator, and see for yourself why this spin-off feels less like a footnote and more like a bold new entry in the looter shooter genre.